Okay, so
I'm just saying Gen Z.
you're talking badly about America.
No, I said
do that. I
ask
think
Gen
it's a
Z.
great country.
No, I said ask Gen Z.
Well, would Gen Z rather live in America or Somalia?
I'm just saying the American dream is harder to realize. The value of the dollar has gone down so much.
I know.
They don't see the ability to ever own a home, possibly.
Right.
It's a much bigger hill to climb than it was for all of
And
us.
that's your right yourself. No one's saying it's not. You're
trying to turn this into a bullshit argument that doesn't exist.
No, it isn't.
Maher set off a fiery clash with Joe Scarborough this weekend, and things quickly turned intense. The live exchange became heated as Maher sharply called out Scarborough for twisting his words, and he did not hold back. By the end of it, Scarborough was left scrambling back to MSNBC looking clearly shaken. As always, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's jump into what happened today.
Now, he said something terrible among his things he said about Ilhan Omar. And I'm not going to have the quote in front of me, but basically what it was is she comes here and all she does is complain. Okay, there is something, there is a kernel of truth in that somebody comes from a country like Somalia, and then it just seems like she does not have any perspective on the country that she joined here.
Ilhan Omar, like any American, has every right to speak her mind. But Maher believes she should also keep some perspective about the country she represents. America isn't perfect, not even close, and nobody seriously argues that it is. But Maher says recognizing both the flaws and the freedoms matters. His point is that criticism should come with awareness of the opportunities and liberties that exist alongside those problems.
We don't think that way.
About
The
America.
second she came here, my family's
allowed.
My family's probably been here for 400 years. The day she came to America and raised her hand and took the oath, she's every bit as much of an American as you are, or me.
And I would say that's about the other Americans. Have some perspective.
Yeah, just as much right as
She does.
Trump or any
Absolutely.
billionaires
I'm
in
not saying
his administration.
She's not talking about rights, Joe. I'm not saying she didn't have any right. I'm saying have some perspective about this country versus a country like Somalia.
Maher's main argument is about balance. He says people should acknowledge the freedoms and chances that come with being an American citizen while still being free to criticize the nation. That's all he's asking: basic respect for the rights and opportunities Omar now has. Joe Scarborough, however, shifted the argument toward defending Omar's right to speak. But Maher wasn't trying to silence her. Instead, he was challenging the tone and framing of her criticism. Since becoming a citizen, Omar has often focused on America's failures, sometimes in harsh terms. Maher keeps it simple. Criticize if you want, but don't forget the freedoms that allow you to do so, and balance your complaints with some appreciation.
So you're saying she should complain about America?
I didn't say that. You're saying that.
No, I'm trying to figure out what you're saying.
What I'm saying is have some perspective about this country, not just her, but yes, if she's from a country like Somalia, which is a country you wouldn't live in.
Right.
Right.
There.
Okay. Well, just be honest about it. Instead of, it just seems like it's always completely negative about this country. It also sometimes seems like we have...
I agree. Say something positive.
Say something
Say how
realistic
thankful you are to be here.
about...
Yes, I agree with that.
Well, I could say...
Everyone has free speech, and all of us can complain, but be great.
Even Marjorie Taylor Greene found herself agreeing with Maher on this point. She said Ilhan Omar should show at least some real appreciation for the freedoms and chances she enjoys as an American. It really is that simple. Acknowledging what the country offers doesn't erase the right to criticize it, but it does require honesty and perspective. You'd think this idea would be easy to accept, yet Joe Scarborough clearly disagreed. He rushed into the debate, eager to defend Omar and challenge Maher, refusing to step back. The clash showed a deep divide. One side calls for perspective and gratitude, while the other focuses only on rights. Maher's point was never about silencing anyone. It was about asking for common sense, balance, and fairness in public conversations.
Well, I could say the same thing about Republicans over the past decade. All they've done is and moaned about how horrible this country was when we're the most powerful country on the planet. We have the most powerful military.
That's when they're out of power.
No, but here's the thing.
As soon as they take office, we're the perfect country.
But when they're out of power, what do? Donald Trump talks about how the American dream is dead. No, it's not. That's bull. The American dream's not dead. We're stronger militarily, we're stronger economically, we're stronger culturally, we're stronger with soft power, we're stronger in every single...
This is where Maher says many media commentators go wrong. The moment they're challenged, they scramble to point fingers at the other side instead of addressing the real issue. When Maher criticized Omar for lacking perspective, Scarborough immediately pointed to Donald Trump's past criticism of America, as if that somehow excused Omar's tone. But Maher highlights a key difference. Trump, despite his harsh words, has also praised America many times. Omar, on the other hand, has rarely shown the same level of gratitude. This isn't about stopping criticism. It's about fairness, perspective, and recognizing the freedoms that come with citizenship. Criticism without balance becomes empty noise, and Maher believes Scarborough completely missed that point.
Okay, so now you're talking badly about America.
No, I said
I
ask
think
Gen
it's
Z.
a great country.
No, I said ask Gen Z.
No, would Gen Z rather live in America or Somalia?
I'm just saying the American dream is harder to realize. The value of the dollar has gone down so much.
I know.
They don't see the ability to ever own a home, possibly.
Right.
It's a much bigger hill to climb than it was for all of
And
us.
that's your right yourself. No one's saying it's not. You're
trying to turn this into a argument that doesn't exist.
No, it isn't.
It honestly seems like Joe Scarborough knew he messed up by twisting Maher's argument, but instead of admitting it, he doubled down. Maher never questioned Omar's right to criticize America. He only asked for perspective and appreciation. Scarborough avoided that point and instead reshaped the argument to sound extreme. This kind of behavior is common in partisan media battles, where arguments get misrepresented and blown out of proportion. We saw the same pattern play out during the 2024 election coverage, where constant attacks ended up backfiring. The same playbook appears again here: deflect, distort, distract, and dodge the real discussion. Maher refuses to play along, and Scarborough ends up struggling because of it.
I said have some perspective.
Have some perspective.
That's it.
I
And I
agree.
would say it to anybody.
That's
So if
right.
you're
Have-
thinking-
Everybody.
I would say that to the Republican Party that says the American
I
dream
would
is dead.
too.
Good for
Of
you.
course.
I agree about this. So why are you yelling?
Because
Why not?
because I don't like when people put words in my mouth. That's why.
I did not do that.
You did it over and over again. I could show the tape.
Scarborough kept insisting he never put words in Maher's mouth, but anyone who watched the exchange could clearly see what happened. Maher calmly said Omar should show perspective by recognizing the freedoms she enjoys. Scarborough twisted that into a claim that Maher was denying her rights. It was a clear misrepresentation, turning a reasonable point into something extreme. The fair thing to do would have been to admit the mistake. A simple apology would have shown honesty. Instead, Scarborough dug in deeper, exposing how some commentators care more about winning arguments than being truthful.
I wanted to tell everybody here, as you're talking about dealing with people who think differently than you, I was telling Marjorie the story about when we first met. And I'd love, since they saw that last little thing that I did, I'd love to just say, for those, everybody here probably doesn't know it, but I was here, what, 90, maybe 96,
Oh, yeah,
97?
absolutely. Well,
And-
the old show.
The old
Politically
show,
incorrect.
politically
Yeah.
After all the arguing in public back and forth, Scarborough finally admitted he misrepresented Maher's point. It took a while, but to his credit, it showed a small moment of honesty. Still, it raises a bigger question. Why is it so rare for media figures to admit they're wrong? Many are quick to accuse others, but slow to accept their own mistakes. Scarborough's late confession reminds everyone that accountability still matters. If more people practice that, public debates might feel less like shouting matches and more like real discussion.
They arrested Don Lemon. Somebody went, yes, like good. I don't know.
I didn't hear that.
It's not good to arrest him. I don't, you know.
Well, I'm going to say he violated the Faith Act. He went into a church, disrupted
Right.
their worship, and then later in an interview compared them to white supremacists. That's not journalism. That's activism.
Then the conversation shifted to the Don Lemon incident, and things took an unexpected turn. Marjorie Taylor Greene surprised many by stepping in to defend the law. She pointed to the FACE Act, which allows police to act when someone disrupts church services or protected spaces. Greene argued that under this law, police were right to arrest Don Lemon. Her stance caught many people off guard, but it reinforced a key point. Rules apply to everyone, regardless of political belief. This sparked a larger debate about free speech, protest, and protecting sacred spaces, creating a rare moment where legal rules and public opinion collided.
You know, I was from the South, I was a conservative, I was a Southern Baptist, and somebody on your show called me a racist and a bigot. And of course, at that time, 99.9% of your audience was really left-wing. There would always be one guy with a NASCAR shirt that would be the one guy that cheered for me. But you stood up for me, and I have never forgotten it. And you said, hold on a second. The only bigot I see here is, and you pointed to the comedian who was trying to get a cheap laugh. I mean, and I've never forgotten that 35 years later.
From this exchange, it's clear that Joe Scarborough finally backed down. He admitted what viewers already knew, that he twisted Maher's words. This rare moment of honesty stands out in a media world where people often refuse to admit fault. It's more than just a personal loss for Scarborough. It's a reminder that fairness and truth still matter. After this, he'll likely retreat to his studio, hoping to regroup, while Maher walks away with his message intact. This wasn't just drama. It was a lesson in standing up to misrepresentation and demanding honest debate.
Trump announced he was moving a huge armada to the Middle East. And he also said we have something called a discombobulator.
Yeah, heard about that. I think the people in Venezuela found out about that as well.
The discombobulator?
Apparently they did.
Yeah. What is a discombobulator?
Well, I don't know, but we have one.
At the heart of all this is one simple truth: perspective matters. Bill Maher isn't trying to silence anyone or deny their rights. He's calling for balance, honesty, and recognition of the freedoms Americans enjoy. Ilhan Omar has often criticized the country, and Maher's message is straightforward: speak your concerns, but also acknowledge what America provides. When commentators twist that message, they create confusion instead of clarity. Even when Scarborough eventually admitted his mistake, it showed how rare honesty has become in modern media. Meanwhile, moments like Green defending legal accountability remind us that fairness should rise above politics. In the end, these debates show the importance of criticizing when necessary, but always doing so with perspective, integrity, and respect. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.